morals were part of our fabric for the longest time, whilst we were still cultural beings.
Yeah.
Right. Whilst we were still within the constraints of what made you black. Right. I mean, I don't have to explain all the things that wrenched you out of that,
Yeah.
because they really took us out of who we truly are, which is a very respectful race and all of that, and people who we had a really great way of life and dealing with things. That was, I'm alluding to Ubuntu right now, right? Ubuntu has always carried us. I mean, for centuries, ancient centuries, eons, right? And suddenly, in this very generation where we are, we're just kind of losing that, modernizing, westernizing in ways that we can't even maintain. When you're down, you go to your neighbor, but when you're up there,
you leave.
Yeah,
you move to the burbs.
Exactly. So that we've been fed this thing, which is not us. It's not compatible. It's an operating system.
Yeah.
It was installed on you. You were given wine, right? There's this, if you're into computers and whatever, I can give you, if you're Linux, I give Linux wine, and it can do Windows things, right? You can do those things, but they're not really used
but you're
by
not
fabric.
Windows,
And there's going to be crashes here and there, which is what's happening with us. We've lost a lot of our fabric.
And I was listening to this guy. Who's this guy that's very opinionated from the States, brothers? Dr. Omar.
Oh, Dr. Umar.
Umar.
Interesting fella.
Umar.
Well,
I
think he
is he a doctor?
He is a psychologist.
He's a psychologist.
He was talking about the.
Yeah. I don't blame him.
He was talking about
the United States is one crazy place.
It is, no?
Yeah. What was he talking about?
He was talking about how black families have been annihilated, basically. He says it was the white man's plot. Basically, he said that if you can check the rate of like single, like what's this
black
thing when
single parent households.
Single parent households. If you check the rate of that, he says it's a new thing. Like the black man had power because he had a family unit surrounding him. And the white man saw that I'm not in any way agreeing or disagreeing with him. I'm just voicing out and getting into what you were saying.
Bro.
Okay.
He said he talked about how after 1970 something, after the death of Martin Luther King, how the whole idea of black single-headed households and stuff like that, how it's increased.
Started to increase.
Because
I mean, that old J. Edgar Hoover thing. He's one of those guys that became, like the defender of white territory and all of that stuff. And as a president, he wanted to use the system, right, to get black families, right, to be in a state of, imbalance, because he knew if I give your wife a job and I don't give you a job, right?
Definitely.
And you don't get a job for the longest time, right? And your wife is the only one working in that household. That's gonna be trouble.
It's gonna be trouble and an imbalance. And you get into. That's why you find there's a ton of people. There's a ton of men in prisons and stuff like that because you go out with that idea, panda and stuff.
I have all
that.
Of that.
Of which I'm definitely on the side of patriarchy. I think that it's not. I don't think masculinity is toxic. I think that we actually need rough men. Like we need
to an extent. Everybody's got this. I do stand with this GBV thing, right?
I'm not.
But there's a lady I was just talking to before you even came here. Right? There was this lady who was just telling me, and I was just telling her a story of a certain gentleman, and this gentleman really had no power over what happens to him because his woman was really, on the blackmailing, she had a lot to blackmail him about, right? And pretty much the whole neighborhood knew him as an abuser, right? And when the truth comes out, this guy was the one being abused, right? He was the one being, beaten around. He never even threw a punch. You get it? So there are situations like that that are being overlooked. But GBV itself, right? Women are being,
Look, I'm not really
on the tip of GBV.
On the tip of GBV, but I'm on the tip of how society, like, you see even how quick you went to the GBV thing when I spoke about society. Most of it's like when you say, like, we need
you're
men.
A man.
Like they immediately think abuser. You understand? And for the longest time, men were not abusers. We're actually protectors. We're actually providers. Like if you look into the animal kingdom, lions. Man, the male lion is the laziest lion ever. But do you know why they keep him around?
Because he protects.
He marks the territory.
He's lazy.
He's
the strongest.
He's the strongest.
Symbol of power.
You understand? So this whole thing of sharing gender roles, I feel like it's, look, I'm raising my daughter. I'm changing diapers and stuff. I'm not saying it's unpatriarchy, but before you'd find that I'd look. There's this quote here. Who's this guy? TD Jakes. He says that if I'm a father, if I'm not out there making money, if you have me, if you have access to me all the time, we're gonna starve.
Of course.
Like, we're gonna starve.
Yeah.
Like, we need to be out there hustling. You understand?
I feel like there's a lot of men out there that are going through the burden of, having to try to kill a million birds with one stone. Right? I mean, you're out there trying to do finances. You're out there trying to get the family in the right, secure the bank, right? And at the same time,
and you need to go home and bring flowers
and all that stuff.
But I mean,
which comes with the territory, right? And I mean, your lifespan as a man. I mean, masculinity is one thing that is really willing to go to the guillotine, right? Like, as a man, you're willing to go to the guillotine.
Look, bro,
for yours, right?
That's the thing. You need like all leaders sacrifice themselves. Like, all great leaders sacrifice themselves for the greater good of you understand. So if you deprive a man of all of that, it's not a burden. It's a opportunity to prove. If you deprive me of the opportunity to prove that I need to put my head on the block for you, we're getting what can I say? We're getting weak men. That's my whole thing. Like, we need to. I'm an advocate for building stronger men. You understand? I'm not. I didn't want us to get into that topic because we're gonna have a lot of females watching this and they're gonna think, this guy's a chauvinist.
I think you'll be surprised to see how many women actually understand things from that perspective. I think it's just an agenda that is driven by the mainstream media.
It is.
Everybody is sad. Media will tell you the world is coming to an end. But when you wake up and you talk to your neighbor, you realize, things are still fine.
Things are still okay.
There may be trouble, but things are not as bad.
The sky isn't falling.
On TV.
The sky isn't falling.
Things are getting overly hyped up these days, and easily things get taken out of context, and everybody wants to have an opinion on everything. People don't even care whether is your opinion really. Every opinion is valuable, but you have to weigh the logic of every argument that you want to follow. You know what I mean? And I think it's so popular. The narrative right now, if it's negative, it's so popular.
Bad news sells.
Exactly.
Bad news does sell.
Bad news travels fast. So when you take an idea and you follow the negative path, it reignites everything.
What you just said, actually, it just triggered something in me. I study a lot of our culture, Bantu history, right? And there's something you said initially, and then I was like, yeah, he's right. You were talking about how us as black folks have been behaving and all of that. And I know that us as black folks, let's just say Xhosa people, for instance, right? Xhosa people, nomadic tribe. Nomadic, it just means that when you grow up and you're a man now, right? You have to have that independence because they judge you, they know you, right?
Yeah.
They've been watching you. They're like, okay, you're the son of a king, right? And so since you're the son of a king, there's something in you that wants to do something, right? And go outside and explore.
That voice, bro.
Yeah.
You could be greater.
So the son of a king will always leave his tribe, right? And go out there, seek avenues, and then he can come back home with experience and that type of thing. Those are the kind of logics that they've been using, right, to keep society sane, in a sense. Now, all of these people, right, who have this gene in their DNA, by the way, right? They have this gene. It's being suppressed, you have this longing to do something. You don't even know what it is lately, right? Because we're so far away from our way of life.
How we drifted,
So as Bantu people, right? That's something that I really am passionate about. To actually discover how we've been living, right, and to try and translate that into today's life, right? And you'll find some really amazing facts about us, really great things about us, especially I have a Shona friend that teach me a lot about the Shona history, right? And there is a place where we all converge, by the way, right? As South Africans, most people don't know we're Congolese. Not really Congolese, but West African, right?
We're West African.
Yeah, and so to come here, right, and become
South
Africans today, we have a lot of heritage. That is Bantu, right? There's a Sotho-speaking tribe out there, right? There was a king. I remember he had very funny name.
I know somebody from Zambia
who speaks a clue. Yeah,
his name is Dumelo, and it means the same thing.
Yeah.
Interesting. That's very, very. But look at language. Language, especially even like take a look at Chichewa. Take a look at other certain African languages. Take Shona, for example. Language. There's certain words.
Have you heard Shona?
I've heard it.
A lot of Shona.
When I was in Joburg, when I was still staying in Joburg. There's a lot of words that borrow from South African languages, like Nguni languages. So look at that relation between the languages also, and then you look at also if you flip it to the other side, you look at Afrikaans and the Dutch and there's that correlation. So like the languages, how they borrow from each other, and also the root. Where does the root come from?
I'd like to give you a bit of homework, right?
Yeah.
Where do you think Afrikaans comes from as a dialect? Was it a European? Is it an Indo-European language? As in maybe a Latin comes from Latin,
Dutch,
right?
It doesn't come from Dutch.
Well, all European languages come from Latin. From Latin type of dialect. And
I'm messing with these chips.
So
kill them, bro. Shout out to the chef.
Yeah, the chef is Matshidiso Mkhi and Pro, right? Neon Pafani. Yeah, they did it for us. Yeah, we call him Pro. Because it's really good. You tasted his steak, right?
The T-bone.
It
was super nice.
I need to have that.
Yeah,
I need to have that.
You need to have that.
So I was gonna tell you something about Afrikaans.
Yeah.
Afrikaans, do you think it's an Indo-European language? Right?
I always thought that, and then it came here, and then it got diluted.
That's what I thought
diluted somehow. What do you think?
Yeah. No. The French, the Dutch came together, right? They had like an informal settlement type of living, fat and set together, right?
In South Africa,
right? They had what? Black workers working for them, right? They hear the French. They're not allowed to speak their dialect.
Yeah.
They hear French.
They hear Dutch.
They hear Dutch. They came up with their own dialect,
Afrikaans.
a beautiful dialect called Afrikaans. And the children of these guys started speaking this Afrikaans
because they were raised by
these
because the parents were always
So Afrikaans, in a sense, is a Bantu language to me, right?
Yeah.
Wow. Afrikaans is our language, dog.
It's true.
I didn't like Afrikaans until I discovered that.
Okay. Amazing.
That's our
It
language.
makes sense now.
Yeah.
Word.
Makes sense.
Now it makes sense. Right? All they hooters.
I'll say word.
Yeah.
It's a very but it's very authoritative though as well.
It's white people speak it better for me.
Word.
Yeah.
But then again,
I
if you
can't-
do get Bantu languages, I mean, that are also authoritative as well.
Yeah.
You know.
As Bantu folks, we're going into the Bantu thing. I like doing a little bit of history checks on us, right? Bantu people are pretty ancient people, dude. Ancient as the Bible. Much of the Bible books that you get were actually Bantu books. Think about the book of Job, right? The book of Job is a story that was told. It's the oldest book in the Bible, and it was always a story that was told by us Bantu people on the table. And if you look at certain words in the Bible, like Ezekiel, what does Fezeka, right? What does Fezeka means? It has come to pass. It has to come. Fezekile, right?
Something like that.
Ezekiel, Fezekile, it has come to pass. Same meaning. Ezekiel in the Bible
means it has come to pass.
Right? And it wasn't a word that was borrowed, by the way. It's a word that we have as Bantu people, right? So Bantu people have a really rich history in this Bible thing. We have a really rich history in they don't want us to really wake up to who we truly are. Because we're not entitled to that extent, I mean, we have entitled people who make you feel like, you had leopard skin on your back.
And then we came here.
And
but if we could really dig deep, we'd probably find that the origins are like.
I mean, why are we this smart? Why are you this smart? I look at you and I'm like, shit, man.
I look at you and I'm like, I told you about the conversation. I told you about the conversation with this guy.
And we're scratching the surface.
Think about the relative odds of the situation, right? Here we are, Africans, right? We're swimming upstream, my guy. We've been swimming upstream, but we're managing, buddy. We're managing.
Bruh.
The odds have been totally against you,
Bruh.
right?
Word.
Our parents
We're
have
quite
managed.
resilient.
The resilience.
The resilience.
I once read this. She's controversial, but I just read her book. There was this woman, Mampela Rampela. She was Steve Biko's wife, right? She was
I've heard her name,
Yeah, she talked about resilience. She was like, what does it take for a flower to get out of the ground? You don't know, but you see a flower ultimately, right? And you could judge it and say this flower is too small or whatever, but you don't know what happened down there.
And if you're a threat, bro, a threat, everybody's trying to oppress you.
They will.
Like if you're a threat, if you're a god, bro, everybody's trying to oppress God, bro. Everybody's trying to bring him down.
Yeah. I think your biggest problem is you've been downplaying yourselves. We've been downplaying ourselves a lot.
That's true.
And we do it consciously.
We do,
Because
and subconsciously.
Stories, bruh. Like stories, we live up to stories we know nothing about. Like these stereotypes about culture and stuff like that. We have no idea where they come from.
Have you this whole leopard skin? Yeah, I mean, look, they give you things out of context. You get a lot of things out of context as a child, and a child has no judgment, right? They're just gonna see, this is better than that, right? Like my kids, I don't let my kids watch Coco Melon, right? Like I got twins. They don't watch that Coco Melon stuff. It's just, it's usually nursery rhymes that come from apartheid times.
Programming.
And again, those nursery rhymes are coupled with images of white people enjoying themselves, right? And now white is associated with happiness and joy, right?
And black is associated with
Oh
It's
yeah,
got a negative connotation.
Yeah. So I give my kids, you know, there was this Omo berry. It's a Nigerian, you know, because Nigeria is just. I feel like Nigeria is the only African country.
Nigeria is the only African country that's content with itself.
Exactly.
And I was watching this other program.
That's why we're starting to hate it.
These Americans are like, bro, why are Nigerians so smart?
Yeah.
Like Nigerians are the only people that are true to themselves, and they are showing.
Yeah.
You see how Nigerians are in South Africa.
Yeah.
They're the same everywhere. United States, everywhere. They feel the pressure. They're like Nigerians.
They don't have what we've been given.
Inferiority complexes.
A very crazy inferiority complex, right? We walk in, we have imposter syndrome.
Yeah.
I've seen that.
You feel like you don't belong.
You're like, I don't belong in here, man, right? Or maybe I have to work extra hard to match up to what everybody's level is, right?
Yeah.
And I've seen that white folks do that a lot. Not just white folks. There are good white folks. There's a lot of white folks.
Even if it's good white folks, nah?
Yeah.
Their programming is that, look, you get into a space, you own it. You understand? That's the mindset from birth.
And I don't. Yeah, it's a subconscious thing.
Yeah, like there's no barriers to entry in their mind, in their minds, basically in their programming, psychological programming.
Yeah,
they don't have that thing.
And like, they could be poor, bro.
Dude, dog, listen.
You could be poor and go into a very, like, I could give you a very small house, RDP.
Yeah.
If you have no imposter syndrome, you will say, I'm gonna pop the roof on this thing.
Yeah.
Gonna make a double story out of it, right?
Yeah.
But if you have imposter syndrome, you're gonna be like, my neighbors, right? I'm just gonna do what my neighbor does.
Yeah.
It's safe.
Yeah.
It's whatever, right?
Yeah.
So imposter syndrome is what stops us. It's what's been limiting us.
And you know the funny thing that I've noticed,
you're comfortable in your skin.
Because now because of positions, somehow you spend a lot of time around white people.
Yeah.
The way society has been, I don't know if it's a good or a bad thing, nah?
Yeah.
We're all in the same boat now.
Yeah. We're all in the same boat. And finally, I'm enjoying watching the previously, advantaged, side of the game coming on the table and starting to think like us, right?
Yeah.
And starting to say, let's hold hands, right? Because finally,
let's do what
I'm no longer up there.
Let's not
and
fight.
I realize what's happening up here, right? I mean, it's pretty good, man. And by the way, they're stringing in a lot of.
Sorry to interrupt. We probably have a minute to wrap up the filming.
Yeah. So I think time is relative to this guy. Right?
Time is relative to this guy.
Yeah, when you're having fun, it flies.
It does.
Yeah.
It does. But I'm going to have to love and leave.
To dash. Yeah.
It's 8 o'clock.
It's 8 o'clock.
Yeah. Is that time, bro? I gotta get back to the Queen and the Prince.
Yeah. So what we can do is, all right. Let's finalize. Brothers, I don't know. Let's have this often as we can. Let's have this, and then we'll see where it takes us.
Thank you, man. And thank you for doing it here.
I mean, there was no other way.
Really?
There was no other way, bro.
Thank you, man.
There was no other way.
I mean, there's a lot of places, but
no, bro,
I feel so privileged.
My brother's been advocating. I'm like, I've never been there. He's like, you know what my thing is? I thought I've been here since Gillendon.
Yeah.
I thought I was gonna pay at the gate. I'm like,
maybe get the logistics.
Yeah.
We should put it out there. You don't really have to pay.
When you're coming to,
can I just say I'm coming to your?
Yeah, and if you're coming to us, just come to us.
Yeah, but I'm not really coming to yours. I'm actually going to.
Oh yeah, that won't work. That one won't work.
I feel like this one should be cut. This should be that.
You're gonna have to go through this door, right? And when you go through this door, then you can have fun or do whatever you do. But if you come into us, just tell them you come into us and chill with us.
Take a detour.
Chill with us. Have fun with us first.
Have fun with us first.
Spend something here.
I like it. Exactly.
Spend something here.
Nice.